Next week's releases will be our next section. All we really have, I mean, as far as full games, there's a game called Dr. Lautrec and the Forgotten Knights,
I'm interested in that one.
Really? I mean, because...
Well, no, seriously.
Okay,
don't hide your feelings there.
Dude, no, it's a good one.
What I've seen is it basically looks like you can't mention the title without being like, oh, Professor
Layton.
It looks like... Because it looks like a lot like Professor Layton.
It looks like Professor Layton meets Puzzle Quest, which are two games I really love.
Yeah, I think it's slightly cartoony style. I mean, it really, really looks like someone was trying to knock off Professor Layton.
That's true.
Because the main character just looks like a poorly drawn Professor Layton with a sword. Yeah, and it's slightly cartoony style. It's just everything feels a bit off to me, just because I love the aesthetic behind Professor Layton. Even though I've never played the games, it's like, I love the idea behind the games and stuff that I've seen.
I'll give this some outsider perspective on it in that I've never heard of this game. I can't tell if this game is a cartoon or if it's in 3D, because half the screenshots are one and half of the other. It looks like there's a lot of looking at maps.
That's a puzzle game.
Okay, it's like a little puzzly game. Okay, you solve little brain twisters and there's puzzles. And I guess that could be
it's
fun.
basically like brain twisters, but then it looks like it sort of functions also like a dungeon crawler.
Yeah,
but certain interactions.
It has like RPG.
Here's a guy opening a chest. He's got like a Zelda map on his other screen. Okay, so it's got a lot of things people like. Sounds like
I mean, given I don't have a 3DS,
it's
so
Konami. Like I put a lot of stock in Konami.
Yeah.
That's not a bad.
I mean, everything that I've read was like, "Oh, look out, Layton! Konami is coming with Professor Lautrec or whatever."
We even gave him an L name.
But he's a doctor, not a professor.
I really don't respect these game studios that specifically make games so like uninformed grandmothers will accidentally purchase their game at Best Buy. You know, the game that's called like
Portal Hunter,
Modern Combat. Just like, oh, here you go, son. Merry Christmas.
God damn it!
Like, thanks. It's an army game. Great.
I think there's one like Battlefield Soldier 3.
Last week when Mario Kart came out, there was at least 4 other racing games that came out at the same time, obviously for that purpose. So like, oh yeah, it's a racing game I want. Cool. Have this one instead.
They had the same thing for, well, this is tangenting, but they had the same thing for movies, like Transmorphers.
Transmorphers, the Terminators, so many.
Transmorphers gives Transformers a run for its
Snakes on
money.
a
That's
Train.
true. Snakes on a Train, which had a better ending than Snakes on a Plane, and then a snake just eats the train. If we want to bring this back to games, and also talk about 3D, I've heard that the Arkham City release for PC is like the best use of 3D that people have ever seen.
Interesting.
Like it's
on a PC.
On PC, yeah, it's absolutely like the best use of it. Like they shipped out 3D screens to some reviewers just so they can see the 3D. Like it just looks gorgeous and
I was
everything's
gonna say
perfect.
in the off chance that you happen to just buy a 3D monitor, like, oh, I decided I wanted to spend an extra $200 on this monitor on the off chance that there might be a game that might use this well.
Well, now you have it. It's there, and it involves Batman.
No, because every time I went to Fry's...
I've seen a couple, like, 3D demoed games that were, like, on TV specifically made for it with, like, the PlayStation glasses that, like, sync up Bluetooth style, and, like, those were actually kind of cool.
I was gonna say, every time I went to Fry's, they would always have the setup with World of Warcraft playing. You put on the glasses, and I was like, wow, this is not worth it. Like, why would I pay this much money for this stupid screen? To see my World of Warcraft character pop out slightly with no real depth of anything else. Like, ugh.
Okay, I've got a great segue here, and this is actually something I wanted to talk about, but I didn't have a gripe, so I'm cashing in that chip here.
There you go.
I actually saw an ad when I was looking at stuff, getting ready for this podcast. I was watching some video on YouTube, and an ad came up for a PlayStation racing game or whatever. And if you have one of those 3D TVs where you actually have to wear the glasses, like how those work is they basically flicker different images intermittently, and your glasses sort of alternate, and you only see one image with one eye at a time, but they go so fast you can't notice it.
Oh, cool.
But what they've done now is with racing games, normally where you would have to split the screen down the middle, and like one person's on the left screen, one person's on the right screen, and you basically instead, they just do one person gets the whole screen, and then the next person gets the entire whole screen, and you each have glasses on, but your glasses only let you see your frames. So you're both staring at the TV, you both get the full frame, and you both see yourself racing. Like, it's crazy.
Dude,
I think that's really cool.
That would be the reason for me to get a 3D TV. That is awesome. That is, no, because I saw a commercial for that, and I didn't get it, and now that you're just now explaining it, that's fucking...
it's brilliant. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. But now I gotta go buy all new monitors and TVs.
Exactly.
For racing games.
No, I wouldn't do it for racing games. I would do it for like co-op games. Like imagine first-person shooters and stuff like that. Imagine a first-person shooter where you're
absolutely
like a Borderlands would be awesome like that, where you could just both have your own screen and freaking wander off and do whatever the fuck. Like,
I'm glad someone finally looked at a group of people playing, on a big screen where it's split into fours, and they were like, "This is retarded. This is terrible."
Well, you can have the biggest screens in the world, and you'll still find a way to gripe about Like, you can have an 80-inch monitor where you each get a 20-inch TV.
Well, any 4-player game where everyone has to have one screen is just pretty much ruined.
Yeah.
You don't want
Well, I don't think anything beyond first-person shooters have done that in a while, actually. That's been the big problem for me. I'll save this for the gripe section of the next podcast, but I'll just mention it briefly here, and then we'll move on.
A preview.
The humongous lack of same-screen co-op games. Where if you want to play a game with, like, your roommate or your friend or something on the same screen, it's like, no, there's multiplayer to this game, but even though it would be super easy to just split the screen down the middle, fuck it, you have to get another Xbox, another account, another television, and sign on to the internet and play.
Then do I have news for you?
To, like, a lack of just, like, real awesome co-op games like they used to have. Dude, I remember, like, all the side-scroller fight-em games, or, like...
Oh, like TMNT?
TMNT, or where you're flying, those games where you're like flying and you both have ships and you're getting power-ups, like any of those cool cooperative, like we can't shoot each other, we're just taking down bosses together. Like, that was sweet, man. I don't see that enough. Like, you get that kind of
my
like Gears of War, I guess, can do two-player, but like it's not the same somehow.
All right, now we'll go for our takes on games. This used to be the 60-second game roundup, but that was awful. What it is we're just going to discuss what games we're playing, what games we're not playing. And the games we're not playing can either be because you haven't gotten a chance to play them yet, or because you have zero interest in playing them. And then games that you can't wait to play. Games that are either coming out soon, coming out in 10 years, whatever. So it's gonna go category by category, and we're just gonna go around. Each person's gonna have a chance to talk about their thing on their own, just without interruption, for like 30 seconds to a minute, and then we're all going to jump in and discuss it.
Have you mentioned League of Legends?
Oh, not at all, and I'm happy.
Because that is about a majority of my free time, is playing League of Legends with Riley and a bunch of our friends. Basically every night we play at least one or two games. And then we get actual time to play other games, but we have this obligation where we have to play League of Legends. If you don't know what League of Legends is, it's Defense of the Ancients type clone. It's evolved, I think, past that, but
it's sort of taken the mantle, right? I don't know if it's even
exactly
anymore. Like, now everyone's chasing League of Legends.
It's far and above the number one right now. It's you control a hero on a team of 5 heroes. You have an army that pushes towards the other side, where there are other 5 heroes that you fight against, and it's arena title combat. It's very fun, very addictive, and completely free. It's free to play.
I heard
and you never have to.
That there are more people playing League of Legends than World of Warcraft.
Ooh,
that's absolutely true.
Really?
There's more accounts, because it's free to play. There's more accounts on League of Legends than active accounts on World of Warcraft, for 2 reasons. World of Warcraft has been slightly declining recently, and League of Legends has been booming recently. So,
well, you know what I'm pretty positive is true is that Minecraft probably has more accounts than every MMO combined in history.
Possibly so.
No, did you guys hear the just to get we'll go back to being on topic just after I mention this real quick. Did you guys hear the
after we get off topic,
yes.
We'll go right back.
We'll just jump right back in. Now, did you guys hear the stats that I mentioned in the last cast?
Oh yeah,
you said a bunch of big numbers.
Yeah, no, it was just like billions of accounts being created like every minute. There are like thousands and thousands of things that every second 4,000 new skins are downloaded for the game. Every second.
Yeah. Take a breath. That's 4,000 more.
Good God.
Dude, rightfully so. That's the best game of our generation. Dude, this game is so good. Anyone who hasn't tried Minecraft and just gotten completely swept up in it, like, you're missing out.
Exactly.
It's incredible.
But we'll do that when we get to your games.
The other game I'm currently playing that's not League of Legends, I play a lot of Dungeons of Dreadmore. Skyrim doesn't count, because Skyrim is a time sink. Dungeons of Dreadmore is a indie game, which is coming out with DLC soon, so that ties kind of into what I'm looking forward to, but I'll talk about that later. Dungeons of Dreadmore is a roguelike game, top-down, very tongue-in-cheek, very funny, reminds me a lot of, like,
oh, nice.
Secret Monkey Island type humor.
Yeah, like Double Fine.
Yeah, very funny, very fun. Exactly, yeah. Very good game. Highly recommend Dungeons of Dreadmore. It's like $5 on Steam.
I mean, I haven't really checked out any sort of indie games for the PC. Everything that I look at is usually in the Xbox Live Arcade spectrum, just because that's what's most available to me.
What you should look at is the indie bundles. There's a bunch of them now, and you usually have to pay like $3 or like an indie bundle is a bundle of indie games, and it's a
I remember the first
these?
Humble Indie bundle like 3 or 4 years ago that I passed up, and then I bought the one last year. But I hate it because it was like I looked at it and it was like, oh, if you go above the average price paid for, then you'll also get last year's one. And I was looking at it one night, and then I was like, cool. And then I woke up the next morning, and I was like, oh, I'll actually buy this now. And then I paid, like, a couple bucks over, and by that time, the average price had gone up $3. And I was like, damn it!
That's the most brilliant marketing scheme. I love that.
Yeah, I bought it for the price that I thought it would be, just like $1 over, and then it went up 2 more, and I was like, I would have paid $2 or $3 more to get like 7 more games. God damn it! Can I go back? Like,
you gotta delete it and buy the whole thing again.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem with indie bundles for me is generally when I get them, they're usually 3 really good indie games that I'm like, that I've played already, that I'm like, oh, awesome, so they've got these games, it's totally worth it. Braid and Super Meat Boy and World of Goo, and then like 7 other games. I'm like, awesome. And then every one of those 7 other games is unplayably bad. Just like, how did people love these games so much? I mean, like, it's...
I don't know. I had a great experience with the last 2 indie bundles I bought. There's one called Atom Zombie Smasher, which is a tower defense, like, set in the 50s. It's cool. Sweet. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so we can talk about indie games for a while. But I'm going to cut myself off. And so it's Riley's turn next.
See what I'm playing right now. Definitely League of Legends. That game is super sweet. Play a lot of that. It's kind of one of those games where you either have to play it like constantly or not at all, because you will atrophy and you will become terrible and your friends will mock you. If you don't,
not just your friends. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, your teammates, the opponents, Riot, everybody. So we play that a lot. I've been forcing myself to play Skyrim as much as possible because it's great. I've done something terrible in Skyrim in that I've decided that I love stealing, strangely. So I would go through and I'd just like decimate towns of all their wealth. And my character leveled up so much from stealing, and I'm so high level now, but I've never like lifted a sword in combat. So I go into these dungeons and they all scale based on your level. So they go on like, "Whoa, here's this seasoned champion," and I'm like, "Ooh, any coin in your purse?" And they just like go through. Right?
I hope you keep your heart in your pocket, because I can just take that.
There's no thief ending. There's no way to win by pickpocketing. I've tried my hardest, and you do have to kill people. And
you can't be a pacifist in the Land of Dragons.
I'm literally in a dungeon. Like I've quick saved and run so deep into it that I'm like out of potions. I'm out of health, and if I load, I instantly die.
You've dug yourself into a quick save hole.
So, I can either load way back, or I can just go play Minecraft, and that's kind of where I'm at now. So, the third thing that I'm still playing is Minecraft, and I know you mentioned it last week. I've been playing Minecraft since the alpha, and it has kept my attention like no other game in the world. It is. I can go out and say that Minecraft is the scariest zombie game I've ever played. Like, dude, you think you've played a zombie game and you've known zombie fear, but you do not know fear until you've felt utterly helpless and scared and unprotected, and you just dig a hole into the earth and then put dirt above you so that nothing can get to you, and you wait. And you wait for daylight for like 20 minutes. You just sit there in a dark hole. Like, that's how scared you are in a game. And that's real fear. And that Minecraft's great.
Yeah. It's, for me, also become the most frustrating game I've ever played. Because it always be like, because I have so much fun exploring mines and stuff like that. I have so much fun just building, creating, and exploring. The only problem is the mines are full of monsters that can come out of goddamn nowhere. You just be like, oh, cool, here's an empty, and then a creeper explodes, and then all of your items that you brought down there are scattered. And then you gotta be like, oh, which one of like the 7,000 forked paths did I go down? It becomes like a fucking Minotaur's labyrinth. And then by the time you get down there, either everything's missing, or like, it's like, oh, they're all my items that I can't pick up. Not literally 6. But like, I'm like, it's right there, and I want to grab it, but it won't come to me.
So while that is frustrating, I think that's kind of what makes it so interesting.
That makes
so
it a
fun.
game.
Like if you've always got like that security blanket that like, oh, like, sure, like this guy's kind of hard and I'm scared to fight him, but if I die, I'll respawn with all my stuff and I'll try again. No. That's not the case. Like if you die, there's a good chance you're going to lose everything you worked for. So, like, that's real hesitation you're experiencing when you're considering, do I descend into this dark hole into the earth? You know what I mean? Because there's a real chance that I will never see my stuff again. I don't know. I think games have sort of strayed away from that. We've sort of, like, rounded the edges on games lately, year after year, and things have become so, we felt so safe that it's fun to throw yourself back into a game where, like, I mean, and that's not to say that everyone's going to be scared and lose your stuff all the time in the game. Like, there's ways you can play above ground and just build stuff.
But when something's so hard, it's the exception to the norm, like Soul's Edge and things like that.
Yeah.
There's Demon Souls and Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
Demon Souls and Dark Souls. I've seen people play them. I mentioned it in my... my Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet review. It's like, that's not my style of game. I'm not the, oh my god, I died 7,000 times and lost all of the items I collected for the last 20 hours, but man, that was so fun!
Okay, so I'm a big fan of Mega Man games, and all the classic Mega Man games are exactly that.
Dude, I will equate
even the new
old
ones,
Mega Man games to hitting a rock with a hammer. Like, eventually it will break, but it just, like, I just have to die on a level like
Well, dude,
400,000 times.
Not even that. It's like it's like hitting a fucking wall with your fist. Eventually, it's going to go down to the
Eventually
bone.
you'll
You might
break
do
through.
some damage. God
Man,
damn.
when you break through and then you get the metal blades, that's all you need.
You earned it. That's
You earned it.
Yeah, that's a real feeling that you don't get that often. That real sense of genuine accomplishment. That's something we're missing.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you ask any old school gamer, they'll tell you that. But I suppose we'll move to me, which I'm okay with just deferring back to the next segment to Canon, because I'm not playing anything.
All right. What I'm not playing, I enjoy first-person shooters. I mostly enjoy like RPG type games, but I do enjoy I love Left 4 Dead. Team Fortress 2 sucked me in for quite some
Wait, what?
time.
No, this is what you're not playing. This is what.
No. What I'm saying is, I have no interest in playing Battlefield 3 or Modern Warfare 3.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. My whole big point leading up to one thing.
Yeah, you had to get an elbow in there, didn't you?
Oh,
Right,
boy.
let you finish
Yeah.
one sentence away.
Damn it.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
I
cool.
ruin
It's cool.
everything.
No, it's fine. My house of cards has come tumbling down. But yeah, no. I just don't have too much interest in playing. I played Modern Warfare 2. I played Battlefield 2. They were entertaining, but nothing's drawing me in for them. Like, I'm more excited about The Two of Us or the survival horror game, two-person.
Two's Company.
No, it's not Two's Company.
Is that a game I just made up?
No, that's...
Based on the 70s sitcom Three's.
I don't think it's that.
But what, like a survival horror first-person shooter? Or
It
something?
looks a lot... I can't remember his name. It looks a lot like an I Am Legend type game. Like that type of survival horror. Like, it's these two people that are left, and then just hordes. That's it.
So I'm also not playing Modern Warfare or Battlefield, despite some of my friends playing, and maybe it's for different reasons than you can. But for me, it's like the times I have played those games, I feel like I get in and I'm like stoked. I'm like, okay, this looks cool, and then like a helicopter mows me down that I didn't know. There's no chance I could ever get in that or fly that, or like I feel like everyone's already so far above me in that game that. Like, I don't even have a chance.
Well, you see, I'm just going to jump in here. I'm glad that you can experience that, and I wish that every super nerd that would never play those games could jump in, and so when I do terribly at League of Legends, and I just get my ass handed to me in the comments afterward because I did so bad and I ruined everyone's experience because I'm trying out a new character.
Steve's
they
really
can
bad at
understand
League
that
of
feeling.
Legends.
It's true.
No,
It must
I'm
be
not,
said.
well, yeah, it's because I'm not seasoned. I don't play it often enough to be really good as one character, and the characters that I'm kind of good at enough to have a good time, I'm not good enough to play PvP. And then after the fact, it's just like, what the fuck, dude? What's this? It's like, dude, like I honestly think that as much as people can make fun of the community on like Modern Warfare or anything like that, you know, like the 13-year-olds that are using racial slurs and stuff, even though it's maybe not racial slur bad, just the attitude.
Oh,
and
we've got that too.
just-
No.
and
If you go
and-
deep
and-
enough, you find that everywhere.
If you play solo queue, if you play by yourself in League of Legends, you'll lose your faith in humanity.
It's
It is the
hurtful.
worst community.
The worst
on the planet.
community you can think of. But it's the better of the two communities. Like Dota, the other game, apparently has a worse community.
Yeah, that's
like,
why I'm stoked for Dota 2, because that's going to be the clashing of the fuckheads. Like,
Yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah. We're going to go into a civil war.
The Last of Us, by the way, was the name of the game I was trying to think of. The Last of Us.
Oh, nice.
I was pretty close, we got to say.
I gotta say, you were pretty
With
close.
Two's Company.
Both
Might
of them,
could be an
the-
alternate title for that game.
both sound like 80s sitcoms.
Two's Company, the zombie game.
What I'm not playing, I suppose I'll mention... what
Everything.
Yes, everything. But, you know, yeah, basically every cool, awesome game that's come out in the last, 2 months is, the one I mentioned before, Skyward Sword. I really, really want to play Skyward Sword really bad, because it's the new Zelda game. I mean, every single Zelda game since Ocarina of Time, or I suppose since Majora's Mask, I've gotten on launch day and played the shit out of. Given, I suppose that's really just one Zelda game, but still, all of them, Skyward Sword nonetheless, and it looks really fun. I mean, it's
I've heard that Skyward Sword is not only a great game, that it is the best Zelda game, which
I've
is
also heard
heavy
that.
praise.
Blasphemy,
better than Ocarina,
but I've heard it.
Better
Oh, yeah.
than Link to the Past. Better, the best Zelda game, period.
I feel like what drives Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past a lot, in addition to great gameplay, level design, etc., is also the nostalgia factor. Nostalgia inflates games a lot, and to be able to overcome the super nostalgia inflated, in addition to being terrific games like Ocarina of Time, sounds like a daunting task. But if they've accomplished that, then holy shit, I need to be playing that game.
The only reason I'm not playing it right now is because we're about to move in with our friend who has a Wii, and we don't have a Wii yet, so we're kind of like all like holding our breath, waiting till we can get our hands on it.
For sure.
Because I guess we're lazy.
And it's in his bedroom. And don't want to
we are lazy and manipulative.
Dude, I could buy a Wii, but then we'd have two, and like mine would.
And that's totally unnecessary.
Yeah, like I'm not cool with owning one Wii. Owning two is really bad.
But yeah, so those are the games I'm not playing. I suppose I'm also not playing any of the first-person shooters, but I don't necessarily have an aversion to them. I have an aversion to the communities. I can enjoy them from time to time, because I've had some really fun moments. But the problem is, I'm just not used to that much adrenaline at one time. So after the round, I'd be like, yeah! And then just have to put the controller down and be like, I can't do this anymore. My heart's gonna explode.
Like your sister walks in and you're just like on the couch, like sweating, like just out of breath. Like, what are you doing?
You're so out of game.
Shut up. It's really good.
Exactly. Because I know there's a lot of people that play the kind of games we do, and when Modern Warfare comes out and that's what everyone's talking about, they treat them like they're Neanderthals, like that they're above. But I mean, it's just a different type of game. I mean, just because they're not as informed about the games that you're into doesn't mean that they're stupid. It's just
they're all stupid, and they're also
fucking
dumb.
Neanderthals,
they're also
and
dumb
they're
heads.
Madden. All right. Well, I suppose Canon. Then you can talk about a game or games that are coming out on the horizon that you are looking forward to.
Is NFL Blitz, the new Blitz that's coming out for the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. I'm really excited about that one.
That game was great. Like, all Blitz was to me was they pretty much extended the time after the play was dead. So in most football games, like, okay, the guy's down, everyone gets back up.
Now you
the
can
next
late
play.
hit
This
all
thing
you
gave you
want.
like 15 seconds where you could just continually jump and land on the person you just tackled. That small change completely revitalized the game. Like,
also, the 100-yard pass, every pass.
That sounds awesome.
That it's coming in January. That's one of the games I'm excited for.
I think that's good for people like us, Ken, who don't want to play. Like, I mean,
We don't wanna play
I follow
Madden,
football,
yeah.
but like, I don't want to play Madden because
Right.
I don't know why I don't want to play Madden, but I definitely don't.
It's
But
a lot
Blitz
of work.
sounds sweet. I'll play.
no,
Right?
Well,
Pick
yeah,
up and play.
I always look for the games that will sort of bridge. Like, I'm never going to play Forza. I'm never going to play Gran Turismo, but I'll play the shit out of Burnout. Like,
Right.
I think every
Like
genre
that.
needs that. Like stuff that's way less off to the outside of, where you won't play Madden, you'll play Blitz. I won't play NBA, the new
it
one,
seems
but
like
I'll play
it's always
NBA
like,
Jam.
Brian, it's like, we took this driving game and we made it really fun. We took this football game and we made it really
Made it
fun.
really
Like,
fun.
why aren't all games like this?
No, okay, but no, here's the thing. You could say that about World of Warcraft. If you get into the stats and the technicals and plotting out one boss battle and one raid, even me, like, I'm interested in that, but if you start getting into that, I'm going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I have no interest in what you're talking about. I prefer something a lot more arcade style, like Torchlight, or like whatever the fuck else, where it's just like, oh, I have, like, there's 3 kinds of armor. There's metal, leather, and better metal. Like, I don't need like fucking chest plate of the ages
I
of the
want that
gods.
better metal. Oh my god, better metal needs to be a new type of
Better metal.
That's fantastic.
Cloth, leather, mail, plate, better metal.
Okay, the
It's
game,
like-
I'll keep us on track here. The game I am looking forward to, and I feel like we need to talk about it, because we talked so much about League of Legends, is Dota 2. Dota 2 is the original Dota game that was a World of Warcraft mod. Basically, the lead developer, his name is IceFrog, got bought up by Valve, and basically got paired up with the animators and the modelers from TF2, and got to basically make his game again with like a real company behind him. And Dota 2, like, if you haven't looked at it, it is absolutely gorgeous. Like, take like the art style of
does look
TF2,
really good.
that kind of matte shaded, but like really kind of like not cartoony style, but like it just has like a very distinct style, really cool looking.
No, I did get a chance to take a look at it, and absolutely the character design is freaking amazing.
It goes so much farther than that. So, like, the modeling and the rendering and everything's beautiful, like, just breathtakingly gorgeous in it, but also voice actors are all A-list voice actors for every single character. They all have about 20 minutes of dialogue recorded for every single hero you can play in there. They have, like famous composers writing the score for the game. Like, it's just, like, the polish they're putting on the game that Valve can really take someone's vision and sort of, like, put the right people behind them. Sort of like what they did with Portal is just, I'm really excited about it.
You asked me to watch those videos, and I did, and it's just, it's definitely a gorgeous game. I'm really looking forward to that aspect of it, like League of Legends, but they step it up a notch.
Well, I'm excited.
In the
Okay, so
production
the big thing
department.
is when League of Legends came out, is they took Dota, which was a Warcraft 3 mod, and they changed it a lot. They took out a lot of the things that some people saw as not fun, like being able to kill your own creeps and like losing money when you die, and they sort of streamlined it, and they added some things, and they changed it a lot. They definitely made it their own game. So now I'm kind of interested to see, like, I liked Dota so much, much, and now I like League of Legends so much that, when I finally go back to Dota 2, will I experience all those things League of Legends has weaned me away from? Well, now I hate those things that, I've been living without for so long, or,
Well, plus it goes back to the thing, like, in the end, League of Legends was designed for a more casual environment. Even though it has competitive play, for sure, and there are competitive players in it, it was designed for a more encompassing, more casual environment versus the Dota players, which were like very strict, like you have to do this, and this, sort of thing. So I think Dota 2 will have the more competitive, the League of Legends will have the more casual, friendly user base.
That was one of the things that I noticed in the videos as well, is when they were going through all the attacks from people, it seemed like the focus was more on how these will be incorporated to very technical, very experienced people. Whereas me, like, I don't think I'm ever going to play any of those games often enough to just be like, oh, well, I'm glad this does this much damage. I know exactly how far this attack will go. I'm not really like a timing-centric person. What I like about League of Legends is it's sort of Super Smash Brothers style, like, oh, this character has this attack that I can do like this. I'm not just going to play one character over and over and over and over again until I've mastered him. I like to just juggle them around and have a good time. I'd rather play against bots with 1,000 characters and have a good time than the technical stuff.
That's what's kind of cool about League of Legends, is there's that low-level point of entry. Like, it's a free game, and it's definitely one that you can jump in and be having fun really early. Yeah. But then, like, if you want to go, you can take it as far as you want. Like, if you want to get down to where you know the math between every attack and how much, certain characters have armor, and it goes that far. And that's why I think we're seeing it emerge as like a really prolific esport, and it's sort of gaining a lot of ground there because there is a lot of depth to it.
No, I'm hoping that that Dota 2 will have that, like, it won't be so far beyond the newbie. Even if they're like, the intro stuff is very newbie friendly, I just hope it's not like, cool, we gave you your wooden sword and your wooden shield, now go fight a fucking ice giant. Like, no, it's. I'm really hoping that's not it. Where it's,
no, I think a lot of that is will come with having Valve behind it. I think Valve really understands what it takes to make a great game, and again, they've got IceFrog, who is the original guy making Dota, and I mean, he took the Warcraft 3 use map settings engine and sort of created a whole new, what is now a genre of games out of nothing, right? Like, he's the one that pioneered that, and the fact that he's behind it and he's got Valve behind him gives me, I'm giving him a lot of faith. I'm sort of putting my neck out there for them. Excited about it, man.
Excited for that. Alright, so I suppose I'll go into mine now. One of the games I wanted to mention that is coming out soon, mostly because it's a sequel to a game that not a lot of people liked, but I had a lot of fun with, is Darksiders 2. Now, did either of you two play the original Darksiders?
Wild card. I did play the original Darksiders. I had a crushing moment in it that made me put down the game forever.
What excited me a lot about it, or I didn't even know about it to begin with, but you just learn by playing it, it's basically God of War meets Zelda. Like,
for sure.
That's basically what it is. It's got the God of War style gameplay, and you're War, one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and you have crazy large attacks, and you take on a lot of enemies, and it's got that very dark, hardcore feel to it. But at the same time, you've got like your dungeon, so to speak, and in the dungeon, you get an item that affects the world in a specific way.
There's even a hook shot, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there's like a hook shot, there's like a boomerang, there's like all those items that you get at some point in the dungeon from a mini-boss, and then you fight the boss, and the boss has some sort of aspect that you have to use that item, and then it's very dungeon-based. At some point, you get a horse. It's just like, it's very much Zelda, but in that hardcore God of War way, and I loved it. Really
also,
big fan of it.
Mark Hamill's in it.
Is he?
So yeah.
Dude, he's an amazing voice actor.
Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, he played the merchant. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. What was your crushing moment in the game?
All right, I mean, it's going to sound really trivial, but so I really liked Darksiders 2, and I was getting along with it really well, and I was in a dungeon, and there were these bomb items that you could pick up, almost like a bomb flower from Zelda. That's really what they were a lot like.
Almost like that.
Yeah, they were very similar. They're pretty much based on it, right? But I found out that you could, like, throw them in a wall, and they would stick, and they wouldn't detonate until, like, you allowed them to detonate.
Oh my god, I remember this.
So I found out that, like, in every room, like, as I opened the door to the next room, I could put the bomb on the wall, open the door, pick my bomb up, and take it to the room. So I, like, adopted this bomb, okay? I was not using it for anything. I was like, this is mine. I'm going to take it. It's going to be useful way down later in the level, like, where no one expected this to be useful, right? I'm going to yeah, this is mine. So for like 45 minutes, I carefully like monitor this bomb and get it all the way through the dungeon. And it's not easy. Like there are parts where it was very hard. I had to like huck it across the room and get it to stick somewhere that I could get to later, pick it up and take it with me. And I'm towards the end of the dungeon and there are spots where like I'm going to be able to use this bomb. And I go through some just random spot, like a random invisible wall where it like detects that I have something I'm not supposed to and it just boom blows up my bomb so that I can't have it. And I was just like, no, this feeling of despair. I was just like, I cannot believe that everything I treasure in the world is just taken.
You tried to make a companion cube out of that bomb.
It was my my companion cube. That's what it was. You're right.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Like I totally like turned it into that, and I sort of just put the game down. And I think I got soured on the whole game because of that experience. This scenario that I created that I wasn't supposed to even have.
Oh my gosh.
I doomed myself for failure. That was my Darksiders experience.
I'll finish talking about Darksiders 2 real quick. The first Darksiders, yeah, you're War, the Horseman of the Apocalypse. You know, there were the three realms, you know, there's heaven, hell, and earth, and it was supposed to, earth is eventually supposed to end, and that's when there's the big battle between heaven and hell, and it's supposed to end at some point where, like, all, like, the seals are broken or whatever, and they're supposed to be broken at a specific time, and it can only be done by the Horseman of the Apocalypse, or something like that, but they get broken, and war is framed, the end of the world happens, and then there's, like, the battle, and he gets blamed and banished, and blah, blah, blah. He's trying to clear his name and whatnot, but while that's happening, his brother Death is who you play as in Darksiders 2, and he's just trying to clear his brother's name or whatever, and he looks a lot like, what was his name, Casey Jones in Tin Ninja Turtles with his, like, skull mask.
Is it the mask and everything?
No, it's funny, how much he looks like him with the mask. I wish he had, he has a scythe, which is almost a hockey stick, but what I like about it is, for what I've been reading, is they're adding a lot more RPG elements to it. I feel like it's going to stray a little bit away from the Zelda element, if not completely away from it, and they're moving towards more of an RPG element where you get different items and armor that will affect the way your character looks, and money and stuff like that is for more than just buying, like, random garbage at the shop. And so I like that aspect to it. I mean, I'm kind of sad that they'll probably be moving away from the Zelda aspect, but I'm glad they're not just like, oh, let's make it more exactly like God of War. That's what I was really afraid of would happen with this, but that they're moving in more of an RPG element is really exciting for me. I suppose that's all I'll mention about that, but, the story I wanted to mention, because you talked about how you dragged this bomb everywhere. I wanted you to tell the story of when you were watching Marina play the original Portal.
Okay, so I already mentioned earlier in the podcast that Portal 1 might be what I consider the best game ever made. Like, okay, and one of the reasons I love it so much is, I'm sure everyone's played it, the companion cube scene where you basically are forced to tote around just a cube, just a nothing, like an object, for this whole map, and they're constantly telling you that it doesn't have feelings and it doesn't, I'll never do it justice, but, everyone's done it. You carry it around all the time, and then at the end you have to incinerate it, right? And I really sat there, I think when it was my turn, I think most people did this, that I sat there, like, looking at this open furnace, and I just said, like, no. And I bet you I spent 25 minutes, like, I set it to the side, and I was, like, exploring. I was like, I will find the way that you get out of this room without doing that. And, like eventually, like, I just gave up, and I had to do it. And, like, it really took a lot for me to kill the companion cube that I was now so attached to, right? Which speaks a lot for Portal. Like, I was more attached to an inanimate object than I am to main characters in most stories, right? So, like, that was a big moment. So I'm watching my girlfriend Marina play this game, and she's going through it, and I'm, like, expecting her to have the same... I can't wait to see how she interprets this part, because she loves cute things, and she's going to have struggle even more than me. So she gets through the whole puzzle. She's got it, and is like, to proceed, you need to incinerate your companion cube, and she just hits the button, tosses it in, and it's like, it hasn't even hit the lava, and she's already looking at the door. And I was just like, I was just sitting there, like, with my mouth open. I was just like, hey, you monster! Like, how could you? Who are you? Like, I felt like I didn't even know her. I was just like, oh my god. Yeah. And, oh, man, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that had that really...
No, everyone had that.
No, everyone had that.
I could not believe
well, everyone that has,
Yeah, I remember just, like, looking back and forth and just, I was definitely like, there's got to be something, right?
Right. No one just... Dude, she didn't even blink. She just tossed it.
And what always makes it worse is, the line of dialogue, the scripted dialogue that comes right after, where it's like, oh, just so you know, you did that with less hesitation than any other test candidate up to this point.
You did that faster than anyone.
She definitely did.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so that does it for the saga that is the third cast. Anything else you guys want to add?
Play Minecraft and play some League of Legends too.
Play some League of Legends for sure. You took mine. You can't take both, man. Both recommendations.
I also love Batman and Spider-Man.
Yeah, as much as Canon hates them all, we know how much you love Batman and Spider-Man and your political aspirations.
Yeah, no. Tell us more about your interests, Riley.
Well, they're really dumb and stupid, and they have no reason. I love those characters, so that's it.
Inside jokes that our audience will not get.
Cool. Be sure to look out for Sean's Forza review and Ross's Rayman review, hopefully as soon as I can get to them, and perhaps something from these two on the horizon.
We can talk a lot.
Actually, Kyle's working on a retrospective on the whole Sonic the Hedgehog series.
Great. What is there left for me?
Yeah, seriously. All right. Anybody have a catchy sign-off?
Stay classy, Steven.
All right. Stay classy, Steven, everybody. And goodbye.
Poop sock.
Poop sock. No!